exactly 2 weeks before he died, he asked me to come in evenings. Joe, can you come in tonight? I said, oh, yes. I came in that evening. Then he gave me his research notebook and sketches about setting up an apparatus, which I did. And he said, after you set it up, weigh out the chemicals and all that, get it started. Come into my office. Usually when that happened, we'd get in he would open up the conversation about music, literature, whatever subject, and I would just do my conversation with you, answer questions. That particular evening, he told me to sit down, and at the table in front of me, there were a pile of papers. He said, Joe, I want you to witness all these papers. But that was unusual. It never happened before. And his desk was in front of the table, and he went to his desk with a back towards me. No conversation, no silence. It was kind of eerie, weird. I expected the usual. I don't know how many minutes I spent rapidly signature, witnessing. Then I made a remark just to break the silence. I said, Doc, I don't know what I'm signing. It might be my death warrant. I can still feel it. He spun around and said, damn it, Joe, read it. I was shocked. And he stumps out of the office and goes in the lab. I said, me and my big mouth. I was really shook up. I finished signing all the papers, and I went into the lab. I said, Doc, I'm done. Anything else you want me to do? He said, no, thank you, Joe, good night. On the 29th of April, I was taking a trolley to work, the newspaper, and I have a copy of it. Do you have it too? I have a copy of the newspaper headline, well-known chemist, suicide. Then his picture, and I was shocked. Because he was still fresh in my mind as a result of the last 2 weeks. I think it was on the 15th of April that I was with him in the office. And exactly 2 weeks later, I read in the paper that he committed suicide. I was really numbed. I came to the laboratory. There was no conversation. Everybody was silent. Nobody wanted to open. Why did he do it? Now, it has been said, but no one has actually seen it, that he'd been walking with a cyanide capsule. That it was always that he had it in his possession. Nylon 6,6 was invented on the 28th of February 1935 by Jerry Berchet. They started scaling up within several months. He went to 2 pounds. Then from then he went from a laboratory into semi-works operation, next scale. And the polymer was made in the special semi-works operation. And from a hypodermic needle, they started going into pumping. They first tried solution spinning using phenol as a solvent, but that turned out to be too dangerous an operation. They could not spin it as they do rayon. Wet spinning, they call it. The decision was made, it's going to be melt spinning, and then all metallurgists came in, engineers came in. They started going in the direction of commercialization. That started in 36 and 37. Before that time, I was very much surprised when I came in 1930, when they got the first nylon 5 years later. Everybody talked about it, and nobody ever told me, this is top secret, don't you dare. The moment it became commercial, they started spinning it in semi-works operation. When Dr. Graves came in, secrecy became very, very serious. In fact, one man, we used to work on Saturdays in the semi-works operation, And the novelty of spinning the nylon, people start talking about it in the laboratory. And when Dr. Graves finally gave the order, this is absolutely top secret. And one Saturday afternoon, the man who was working on the operation brought his family in because everything was so novel. Oh, look at how you make silk. When Dr. Graves discovered that somebody, that strangers came into, that man was dismissed. Boy, that gave us a definite signal. Don't you open your mouth. From then on, everything was stopped. Now, the plant, there were 8 spinning machines. Each machine had 20 positions. Each position had 2 pumps. So it's 40 times 8. But everything had to be pulled. The man in charge of Spinneret happened to be a DuPont engineer, Paul DuPont, a good engineer, but also a playboy. Had his own plane, his own yacht. And his job was, when a unit comes out, because it has to be cleaned every so often, the old pumps had to be removed, cleaned, tested, and put back. Paul DuPont had a good idea. He had all new pumps. The plant just started. New pumps were shooting, they're going to spin quality nylon. So what he did, every time pumps would come in, instead of replacing it with a clean pump, tested pump, he would put a new pump on. When the plant shut down because of a nitrogen problem, they needed 320 pumps. He didn't have them. My process is to make a batch of polymer, 2,000 pounds, took something like 4 hours. And we had 5 autoclaves. Each one was capable of making 1 ton, they called it, a ton of nylon. And the production, 5 autoclaves, at that time produced 8 million pounds, and then of course it went to 20 million pounds. From the Seaford plant, you went to the Martinsville plant, almost within a year. The war started December the 7th, Pearl Harbor, 1942. 41. 1941. In 1941, they decided to build a Martinsville plant. And the war had already started. And that's when I was moved from Seaford to Martinsville. Also during the war, they decided to build a 3rd nylon plant. The demand for nylon was very great because of the military. When the war started in December 7, 1941, all the nylon commercial production ceased. Almost immediately it went into the military. It became very obvious that nylon, not only for parachutes, nylon became a very important tire cord because tires were made, either rayon or cotton was the carcass. And under normal condition, the automobiles, the tractors, when a bomber or a fighter pilot plane would come in, loaded at high speed, rayon tires or cotton, the tire would blow, and there would be a treasure to the plane, and the bombs are no in trouble. So it became very apparent that nylon is a very, very powerful tenacity. You can go 3 times the strength of cotton or silk. See, nylon, we learned how to engineer to get the tenacity.